Being a kid, I didn't have any really God-given ability as an athlete. On the weekends, my parents would take me out to the Mosquito Lagoon, fishing and stuff, and I ran into Kevin one time at the boat ramp, and he told my mom, your son's gonna be the best fisherman the lagoon's ever seen. Obviously, fast forward 20 years later, that's not true. That's definitely not true. But, being a teenager and him saying that, I thought it was great. I'm Captain Tanner Sievert. I am a fishing guide in Indian River, Mosquito Lagoon, and I've been fishing over there since I was 13 years old. So 22 years now, I'm 35, and I'm out there, 250 days a year. I fish on my days off outside in what's left of Florida for 300 days a year. My history with Eastcape started in probably 2005. That's when they were just building the Gladesman, and chatting with Kevin online on fishing forums and stuff. I was 15 when the Eastcape Gladesman came out, and it was very cool. They did a lot of cool media showing it off. The Gladesman video that came out, I probably watched it 400, 500 times. When I was sitting at home doing homework, I got all fired up and jazzed up to go out on the weekend and fish. Kevin had talked about hiring me coming in and just sweeping the floors in high school after school. So right there at 17 years old, March 15th, 2008 is when I started at Eastcape. That was my first job. And from there on, every day after high school, I was going in, sweeping the floors, learning how to vacuum bag parts, learning how to do gel coat repair, wash boats. But that summer I started working full-time, and I worked full-time for 13 years after that at Eastcape. At that time in my life when I was young, coming out of high school, of course I had that in me, and I wanted to be a fishing guide. I felt like I knew the water well enough. From a maturity standpoint, for me, it wasn't gonna work right off the bat. I was gonna learn some hard lessons. Working at Eastcape throughout the years, it was always a very fishing forward community, the guys that worked here. Funny story about me working at Eastcape, and I used one of my sick days. I called out sick, and I was headed over to the coast. Lo and behold, I run into Adam. He was not very happy. I barely made it back to work the next day, but it was a good day of fishing. One of my favorite things I used to get to do was I used to wet test, I would say 70% of the boats. You get to go to the water, which was especially nice in the summertime when it's about 1,000,000 degrees. Do a systems check on all the boats, and also nice going out on a brand new $50,000 boat. I got to see all of them. I think I've probably been on more Eastcapes than anybody else.
Hey guys, how we doing? How we doing today? No Kevin Finn today. Got Adam, but he's too busy. So I'm gonna fill in for you today.
It was always a really exciting time. We'd all go to the lake and get that first boat to go run of a new model. I was there for the Vantage, the Fury, the Glide, then on to the Evo series. All those were really cool to be part of that R&D process. When we first got the 25-foot bay boat up and running, Kevin and I took it to Charleston, and it was really rough, like tropical storm conditions, and we were out some nasty stuff filming it. The 17V from Eastcape came about, I would say, through me begging Kevin to build a smaller tarpon skiff for purely just poling. A skiff that's going to be poled in 25-mile-an-hour winds. But I am very proud of how that boat runs and how that boat performs. I spend a lot of time in it, and every time I do, I feel proud that I was able to be part of that design process. They always knew, that's what I wanted to do was be a fishing guide one day and grow my business and grow my clientele. I was able to mature enough, and also my relationships I built at Eastcape, helped me grow. And a lot of my customers that I had at Eastcape still fish with me now. So now that I'm 35 and I'm guiding full time, running 225 trips a year, You know, it feels good to be doing what I've always wanted to do. Of course, there's always room to grow, room to learn, room to get better. And, you know, it's been awesome to finally reach my goals of doing that. I still keep in touch with a lot of people at the shop. You know, Dylan, I get to fish with him, you know, once every couple months, which is always nice. He's a fishy kid. He could catch a fish in a kitchen sink. Yeah, I hope to guide until I can't push a boat anymore. Something I think you can do until you're 75 or 80. I think Eastcape does a really good job building really high quality boats. You know, very customized. I think they're very good to work with, and they stand by their product. I think that's really good to see. You know, in today's world, they actually care and they want to do their best. You know, people talk about the old times, but you know, you got to make these the old times. These are the good times, and just enjoy it while you can. I think it'd be cool if they, you know, just kept doing their thing with the customization and the customer service. I think that's made them who they are. So I think if they stick to that, that'd be great. Care about each other, you know, it's almost like a lot of them, it's like we're family, and I'm blessed to be able to do that for a living. You know, take people out fishing and try to provide the best experience I can.